It seems that finding a good band is like one of those fancy chocolate variety boxes. Now, there's a good chance that one of these chocolates could be the best tasting chocolate you've ever had. So savory, yet so complex in flavor. It's just an amalgamation of love in that piece of chocolate. Then you decide to try the rest of the box, and it ends up tasting like fancy, overglorified garbage and a urine concentrate filling. But every now and again, one of those chocolates that taste like urine somehow tastes like good urine. It's a guilty pleasure. You know it's not quality. You know it doesn't stack up to the finely crafted, beautiful piece of chocolate in the set amongst the rest of the garbage. But it still stands out from the garbage as well. Something about it just hits. And this chocolate is named Fred Durst. What's cracking, Clutch Nation? And welcome to another Clutch Powers production, where today I'm covering bands you probably think are garbage that I think you need to give a second chance to. Modern music criticism is ravenous. It tears through anything that's safe to play on the radio. It doesn't matter how fun or catchy or uplifting your music could be. If it doesn't innovate, and if it doesn't change the scene, and if it's not depressing as hell, critics are likely to just shit on it, all over it, because it gets attention. If your band's popular, especially, shitting on popular bands, ooh, that brings the money. So like the valiant White Knight I am, I'm prepared to show to you bands that just so happen to be shit on a little too much these days. Starting with Is Machine Head an S-tier metal band? Hell no! But let me just say, just because a band is an S-tier doesn't mean it's automatically in D-tier. That's just not how it works. If you ain't first, you're last. But why does such a apparently good band, according to me, receive such hate? Well, there's a few reasons. For one, they trend hop. They like to be thrifty and with the times, and that results in them doing things like nu metal and butt rock.
I am your nightmares. Brother,
Machine Head has had a few misses, for sure, that's for sure. And no one's arguing that. But they also got a lot of passable albums, decent listens. And then even past that, they have a lot of great albums. Hell, groove metal masterpieces, bro. For you to judge the band based on their two absolute doggy doo-doo shit albums is ridiculous, because this is a band with a long career full of highs and lows. It's just their lows stand out a bit more. Machine Head is on the groove metal Mount Rushmore, for God's sakes. Wait a second, hold. What the is that? Sorry guys, there was a piece of shit on my Mount Rushmore, but I know y'all get what I'm spitting here. Just because of a few bad albums and the fact that they're the trendy, trend-hopping band doesn't exactly make them poor in quality overall. So all I ask of you is that you stop treating them like they're such garbage like that, and move on to a band who deserves more flack, you know? Cause Machine Head ain't it. And I know for a fact Loudwire wants to stop talking about Rob Flynn to get back to talking about Corey Taylor, so you'd be doing them a favor as well.
so tell all your friends, this is the end of everything.
For you to properly understand why the next artist is hated, you kinda gotta look back in time. So, we're gonna go for a little history lesson in the Clutch Powers Time Mobile, if you'll just come with me. We arrived in 2006, the year that, coincidentally, Bring Me the Horizon released their debut, Count Your Blessings, which also coincidentally was generic, uninspired, and also happened to be the most hated metal genre. It's a dirty word around here, but I'll say it anyways. Deathcore. But I gotta say, it's not even bad for deathcore standards, okay? It's a decent, acceptable album in the genre, full of shit, so I'm happy with it. But in retrospect, I don't believe the band even liked this deathcore route, so on their next album, Owie Myself Season, they completely changed their sound to metalcore. Core kids rejoiced. Why wouldn't they? It was full of gnarly vocals and absolutely excellent riffage. So, Bring Me the Horizon took this knowledge and decided to cook another album, refining their metalcore roots and creating There's a Hell. Believe me, I've seen it. There's a Heaven. Let's keep it a secret. Why are we gonna make our album title so long? After success and praise from There's a Hell, Bring Me the Horizon decided on a whim that they want to just meticulously reinvent 21st century metal. This metal reinvention, of course, was called Sempiternal. Now, thing with Sempiternal is some view it as saving metal, and others view it as the thing that destroyed metal itself.
Your threat in the city. Nest teams are on site and attempting.
This is Sempiternal! Will we ever see the end?
Sempiternal was a huge, inspirational, breakout hit. And that's exactly why metalheads hated this album, because a bunch of posers liked this album. You gotta love the metal fan base sometimes. Well, with a bunch of new fans of the Sempiternal sound, it was obvious they were gonna make a follow-up and make it eerily similar to They made a alt-rock emo album? What? Yep, their next album, That's the Spirit, was an alt-rock emo album. And yes, it very much enraged the metalhead fans that were already pissed off at Sempiternal. And then even then, the Sempiternal fans who liked that style of metalcore were pissed off because now Bring Me the Horizon wasn't making their cherished metalcore. Now they decided to be alt-rock. Now, would you believe me if I told you this is how every future album cycle for the band would go? They'd release a new album with a new sound. Fans of the past album and albums before the past album would now dog on this new album for not having the old sound people are fans of. Repeat, rinse, everything over again for the next album cycle.
What's wrong with you, bro? What the heck? You tripping, bro? You tripping?
Does the band have other problems? Yeah, they kind of invented Octane Core. They're very good Octane Core, but they inspired all the other garbage Octane Core, which is uninspired and fucking awful. And then past that, there was a whole recent Jesus Christ Dead debacle. I'm not going to really cover that because I don't care to cover that. But yeah, Christians don't really like this band anymore. Which, if they ever listened to the lyrics, they wouldn't have anyways. But, you know, to be blissfully ignorant is to be modern. And despite all of these present issues, I don't think they're enough to make Bring Me the Horizon a bad band. So, shut up if you think that. There's actually a cool trick you can do in these days to find out someone's IQ quickly. Basically, all you have to do is ask them what they think of Muse. Now, if they say Muse is a Radiohead copy, that means they have low IQ. Whereas, if they say Muse is a unique and fun and inspiring band, they have a high IQ. Rate Your Music users actually state that Muse rips off Radiohead. Well, Rate Your Music listeners are probably the worst possible source for any argument ever, but I will feed into this claim slightly. The first Muse album, Showbiz, does indeed have slight similarities to Radiohead, but past that, after Showbiz, nada. Not a single ounce of Radiohead is in their career for the rest of it, aside from a little bit of the vocals, but anyone saying that is just jealous of the immaculate vocals on display from the band. Another reason I see Muse getting dogged on constantly is because people say they're like stadium alt-rock, which on the one hand, I mean, yeah, they kind of are. A lot of their songs are accessible, but on the other hand, there's no reason to just blatantly hate accessibility because it's accessible.
My name's O'Hare, I'm one of you. I live here in Thneedville too. The things you say just might be true. It could be time to start anew and maybe change my point of view. Nah.
This shit sucks! So I told you why you shouldn't just hate Muse. But why should you like them then? They're really just fun, unique, music. I mean, they're a mix of space rock, classical, heavy metal, and every other sound in between. It's just this perfect combination of chaos, and you gotta love it. So if you don't like Muse, all to ya. It's a free world. But I don't think they're necessarily worth hating on. Aside from their one album, Simulation Theory, that one does eat massive amounts of ass, but past that, I'm talking past that, they're just not worth it, man.
I've been begging you, please show me who I am. I'm begging you.
Nobody really likes Måneskin, and that's okay, but I do gotta say that I don't think they really deserve it, especially for how much effort they're putting into their music and how they're trying to be diverse in the scene and all that. I think they're doing it quite well, and they make a lot of fun music. And the only complaints I really see about the band are, one, they find the vocals annoying, which I think you're just jealous you don't have that sexy of a voice. Two, the doomer lyrics, which of course you could just entirely ignore because this is not music I really care to listen to the lyrics for. And three, because they're popular. Because they're a big new band and you hear them a lot. I've got a little game for us to play to showcase this unwarranted hate. This is a review of the newest Måneskin album, Rush. Now what you're going to do is read this review. I'm going to give you a few seconds to do that, and then you are going to tell me what you believe the score given was out of 5 stars. Timer starts now. Time's up. Okay, let's see what the score is, and it's 1 star out of 5. It's 1 star out of 5. This review sounded positive, but here we are. And you see, I feel this musical criticism of the band is valid across the whole scene, where basically everyone doesn't like this band, but they never actually give a valid good reason why. Are they the greatest band of all time? Hell no. Definitely not. But they make fun, simple music, and to hate on it is just kind of goofy, in my opinion. If I was to describe Godsmack in a simple sentence, I would say they're the musical equivalent of a commercial for a Ford F-150.
Straight out of line, I can't find a reason why I should justify my ways.
If you don't like masculine music, you can get the f*** out, because Godsmack is for men. In all honesty, people don't like Godsmack because it's just really simple, hard, edgy radio rock. There's nothing else to it. It's the simplest music you can come up with. Sure, Godsmack has no depth. The music is simplistic as hell. Similar sound structures. It's all radio play, and the lyrics have the depth of a brute. But like, it's all well performed brute music. You know, it's just good when you want to feel like the tough guy in the room. You definitely aren't if you're listening to Godsmack, but it makes you feel that way. Godsmack is a band that doesn't try to be anything else than what it wants to be. Tough guy radio play. So, for anyone to judge it for not being any more than that is ridiculous, because that's not what the band is trying to do. You can't hold it against the band because they have a different identity. They don't need that depth. They're just making catchy, hard music. And to expect anything else from them is just flat out goofy. It's James LaBrie. Next band.
My life is like a video game, trying hard to beat the stage.
In all seriousness, the main turnoff for Dream Theater for 90% of people I've shown Dream Theater to is the vocals. I've grown accustomed to them and I now like them, but I must admit the operatic flat style that LaBrie goes for doesn't really mesh with the absolutely excellent instrumental riffage going on.
My ass and balls.
What I recommend doing with Dream Theater is just avoiding the vocals. Just try to listen to the instruments instead, because the vocals are a little bit hard to get into, you know, but the instrumentals, it's, you know, bouncing all over the place and shit. It's great. It's great. So just try to tune your ears to listen for that, and I think you might like Dream Theater a little bit more. That is, of course, if you could get past the other issue people have with Dream Theater, the fact that the average song length is about 15 minutes long, which is especially difficult with this generation because even if an Instagram reel is more than 10 seconds long, I'm done. That's too long. So a 15-minute song length absolutely floors the iPad kid inside of all of us.
iPad went bye-bye. Okay.
But even if you could just attempt to improve your attention span with this band, I think it's a worthwhile investment. I mean, you'd get to enjoy 25 minutes of Mike Portnoy and the rest of the gang jerking off their instruments, and they jerk off their instruments really damn well. I truly believe the only valid complaint one could have about this band is complaining about a fan of the band getting a hold of the aux cord, because that's going to be a very long song session.
Chungus, big chungus, big chungus, big chungus. It's 4 in the morning, you got one more chance to die.
Avenge Sevenfold has too many monthly listeners to be considered real metal. Avenge Sevenfold is a hard rock band posing as a metal band. Kevin Costner is an absolute stud. Here's a plot twist for y'all. 2 of my 3 past sentences have been lies, and let me just confirm for you that it's not the last one. I will say now there's one valid complaint about Avenge Sevenfold, and it's the vocals on albums like Self-Titled and City of Evil especially. It's just a little too nasally, a little too much booger up in that singing style for me, you know?
Caught here in a fireplace, won't lose my will to stay.
Now, every other complaint about this band is invalid. Invalidated. Shut up! I am right, you're wrong, and you're gonna find out why. First off, no, this band isn't just hard rock, but edgier, okay? Listen, they got 2 metalcore albums, their first 2, then they got a heavy metal album with City of Evil, alternative metal with Self-Titled, back to heavy metal with Nightmare, then heavy metal again with, the one I try to forget about. Then we got progressive metal with The Stage, and ending it off with avant-garde metal with Life is But a Dream, but you know, that one's kind of edgy with most people. Now, of course, you may ignore the diverse metal genres if you're a dick rider of Encyclopedia Metallium, or however you pronounce it, but I don't care. If the genre title has metal in the name, you really think it's that much of a stretch to call it metal? Like, God, what the f*** is wrong with you? And now that I'm done arguing that this band is even actual metal, I also have to say they're incredibly talented metal. Hell, M Shadows may not always be perfect, but he's got some gnarly ass vocals. Just listen to The Stage and tell me I'm wrong. Then you got Sinister Gates, wicked ass stage name, and wicked ass guitar shreds constantly. Add to that some of the best drummers in metal like The Rev, rest in peace, and Mike Portnoy, and you got a combination, a nice slice of metal pie that'll absolutely decimate most competition.
Let's get it 40 right now, dude. Take it to the old spot.
You think the old spot exists anymore?
Yeah, dude, I know it does.
Damn, Shoddy, they used to dress more emo than My Chemical Romance. I could say with confidence that the last thing Nickelback cares about is self-proclaimed musical aficionados claiming that Nickelback makes bad music. Nickelback are in the business to 1, make fun music, and 2, make buttloads of money, and they are skilled in both areas.
Average. Hey.
Mainstream and radio play, those are bad words among music critics. Yet I, as a small town individual, notice that everyone's taste around me is a little more simplified, a little more radio play than critics would like to admit. You see, most people's favorite songs are those songs they can just sing, pick up on the rhythm for. You know, if I was to go to a bar in my town, they most likely would be either playing Nickelback, Creed, or Johnny Cash. And that's enough to tell you, I mean, simplicity reigns supreme in the real world. Whereas online, simplicity and radio play, they're vile. So, where does Nickelback fit into this, I bet you're asking? Well, Nickelback makes simplified radio play, and they're damn good at it. They have a lot of catchy, fun, energetic songs. They have a lot of shitty songs, But the energetic, fun songs kind of override the shit. And I, for one, am tired of pretending that I don't like Nickelback to seem cool. That's just a underground hipster buried inside my soul. If you don't like Nickelback because they're overplayed or because their lyrics are raunchy as hell, I understand you. I get that. But if you hate Nickelback because you believe they're bad musicians, you're just wrong, and I ask of you to view the world through a less hipsterfied lens, because I no longer have shame in admitting that Nickelback can kind of slap sometimes.
This song and video was great. But I have a question. How did man feed baby? He have tits with milk?
The chocolate starfish and the hot dog flavored water.
If you listen to Limp Bizkit, it is without a doubt that you listen to Limp Bizkit as a guilty pleasure band. And on the other side of the coin, if you hate Limp Bizkit, you actually, factually, hate fun.
It's time for you guys to leave because Megan Thee Stallion's going on in a second. Whoa, I was gonna leave and go check it out.
I just have to say, I love Fred Durst, but he cannot rap, he cannot sing. He's more of a businessman slash leading the fun at Woodstock 99 man kind of guy, you know, but overall, this band is still fun as hell. I mean, Fred Durst is not the only member, despite what everyone seems to believe. Wes Borland, great guitarist. John Otto, take us to the Matthews Bridge. No, I'm not gonna go there. Limp Bizkit exists to be fun, entertaining, hype-up music, and nothing more. So anyone to see it is anything else than that is a little bit of the stupid head. And if you continue to share your disdain for the band, well, I'm gonna break your fucking face tonight! Give me something to break! Well, that's all, folks. I hope you enjoyed me covering some shitty artists. Now's the time when you leave, because we're done here. So, screw off. But, hey, mwah! Kiss before you go. See you later, baby.